What is up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? My name is Naomi. Welcome to House of Miscellanea. It is Saturday, which means Saturday Night Live, and talking about art and art things, art-related things. Don't look at my busted nail. I broke it. Look at it. I'm finding that having acrylics is being very hard because when I go over and do the wood, they're staying wet, or I'm like sanding part of it off or whatever. So we may need to ditch the acrylics at some point. Don't know when that's going to be, but yeah. So you can comment on my naughty nail being broken, but yeah, I know. Waiting for people to filter into the chat. I hope everybody is having a good Saturday evening. It is a balmy, I don't know, 70 some degrees outside. It's warm. And Dustin is all of his succulents. It was supposed to be a Sunday thing, but we're doing a date tomorrow. So yeah, it's
one of those date things.
It's one of those
folks are talking about.
Yeah, one of those date things that the young people tell me about that they do. But we're like cool people, so it's gonna be a hike, and probably gathering up random rocks and stuff like that. But hello to those who are coming into the chat. Goddess Jen, welcome. Hi Della, bear with me. Welcome back again. Anxious Wallflower, Alice, and hope that y'all are doing well. Good to see familiar faces as always. But yeah, I'm excited about it. We like to do things together somewhat. We sort of like each other. It's good. What's up, diamonds around the world? It's always good to be with a person that you like to do things with. It's generally one of those requirements of a good relationship. So, we go to a place. Well, we go lots of places, but the place that we're going to go tomorrow, we've been to before multiple times. It's called Lion's Den Gorge, and it's on Lake Michigan. It is beautiful. If I had some pictures to plop up onto the screen right now for you, I would, but as this is live, it's a little harder to do that. Although I am on StreamYard, so if I wanted to, I could probably share a screen and then show you some pictures of what Lion's Den Gorge looks like, though you could probably Google that for yourself. Like able-bodied human beings who can do the Google. Anyways, that's it. Hi, Peggy. Welcome. Let me tell you a little bit about what I've got going on here. I am using my Firefly tray. There's really two trays that I use very regularly. The one is from Firefly. This is the this is called the Switch Mini Max. There we go. The Switch Mini Max. And I like the size on this. I just feel like it is perfect. Oh, Dustin's got a picture. Hold on. Here's Lion's Den Gorge on Lake Michigan. It's like there's bluffs on the side. There's sandy. It's a sand dunes. Yes. A sand dune bluffs. And like I said, it overlooks Lake Michigan. I would say when you're up on the top of the bluff, you're what? Maybe 50 feet?
50, 60, at that point, yeah.
Something like that from the lake. And then you can go down through the woods, whatever. You come back and you can go along this beach. But it is absolutely stunning, right? I mean, the water is so blue. And an hour and a half drive-ish from our house.
Not too bad. Depends on if we take the highways or the...
Yeah, depending on interstate highways, country roads. What's up, Kat? Old Country Road, take me home to the lake. I belong. So not the last time, but the time before that we went to Lion's Den, we were down on the beach, minding our business, whatnot. And all of a sudden, tumbling down the sandy bluffs is this deer. He goes tumble, 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 tumble into the water. And then it stands up, kind of looks around like, did anybody see that? And it goes back up the bluff. I was like, did that just actually happen? I think it did. Anyways, so I use two trays really. This one here, like I said, this is my Firefly Switch Mini Max. I love this thing. It has a slide on lid that you can take off, fan yourself when you're warm. And then I just prefer this size. I have kind of bigger, I wouldn't say man hands, but you know, I'll be man-handing. What's up, Shadowcraft? I have big old long, big hands. So anyways, the thing that I like about it is the size, and then the fact that the pour spout is hidden. You can move it in and out. I like that personally. I don't like to have a pour spout directly in the middle. I like it on the side, and where, you know, I don't have to worry about diamonds flying out of it all the time. It has a little removable trash tray. I really like that too. If you can't just grab it and pull it out like I did, like I said, there's a little hole on the bottom. You can push it up. And then there's this hole here, which I like, that you, when you have it set down in front of you, if your pen's rolling all over the table, you can put your pen in it and it doesn't roll off. We like that. Yeah, exactly, Peggy. The deer was like, meant to do that. Totally. The other tray that I use often, now you can find this at fireflyda.com. The other one that I really enjoy is my cat-proof tray. Now you can see that they're very similar in size. I think that's why I tend to stick with these two. Now, obviously, one, I don't have $1 billion. I don't need 1 million trays. I use the two that I like. So there's that. You see the same all the time. Sorry, I'm boring. But I'm one of those, you find something you like, you stick with it. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Hi, Jamie. Hi, Amber. But I like my cat-proof tray and I like my Firefly. This one, I enjoy that. Again, the pour spout is on the side. It has very nice high sides so that diamonds aren't flying around out of it when I'm shaking it up. Same with this one. It also has nice high sides. This is the Fine Loaf. You can find cat-proof trays on Etsy. Definitely check them out. The Switch Mini Max runs about, I would say, $20, right around in that range. And then the cat-proof Fine Loaf, I feel like this one was $12 on their website. They also have this nice flexible lid that goes on like Tupperware. I love their like insignia inside of the 3D printed lid. I always think that's cool. But these are my two favorites. That's why I use them all the time. Because like I said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Hi, Chrissy. Welcome. So I've got that for my tray. My pen that I'm using is one I made myself. I'm not going to go on at length intention pens, but this is one that I've made. It's called an intention pen. The intention on this pen in particular is for good fortune, prosperity, good luck, you know, happiness, those sorts of things, which is why I'm using it, you know. This one has cherry wood for good fortune. It has tiger eye, which is also to banish negativity. It's for good fortune. And then the herbs that are in this are witch's grass and jasmine for luck, happiness, prosperity. Like I said, I love it. Absolutely love it. And then I'm using my thin metal multi-placer from Diamond Art Club. I am using Putty Crockers. It's actually like the Easter variety, Easter bouquet. I mean, when you get Putty Crockers, right, you're not getting this tiny little slab. It's a very thick, I mean, I've been using this for a while. You get a big, thick slab of putty. I like that. I am a hard placer, okay? So if you are a hard placer like me, what you need is a dry putty. So you're going to want to use brands like Putty Crocker, like Butterfly Effect Wares. Patsy Putty is another one that I found that's really nice and dry. So if you're a hard placer, you're going to do well with a dry putty. Now, let's say you have putty that you got from someplace where the putty is not quite as dry, like Pure Bliss Wax has wonderful putty, but it's a little bit too stringy for me. If you take just a little bit of cornstarch and mix it in with another wetter putty or stringier putty, you can make it drier and use it like you would a dry putty. Obviously you want to go a little bit of cornstarch at a time, but it's a way to take a putty that might not be working well for you if you're a hard placer and make it work for you. So a little tip on that. But Putty Crocker, Patsy's Putty, and Butterfly Effect Wares, I'm pretty sure all three have Etsy stores that you can check out. Definitely good to support small business. So highly recommend it. And lastly, single placer, let me get my tools out of the way here. In my single placer, I am using something that someone sent to me. It is called Ghost from Diamond Painting Daily. This runs like $10, $11. Hi, Marie. Hi, Alex. This runs like $10, $11 on Diamond Painting Daily. Whoops, sorry. The camera's all going waka, 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 waka. This one is from Diamond Painting Daily. So if you're looking on their Etsy store, that's the that you're looking for. Okay. Audra is her name. You can find her on Instagram, probably Facebook too, but I know the shop is on Etsy called Diamond Painting Daily. This stuff is a liquid, okay? And it's sort of like a thicker glue, kind of, and you can take it, and I actually just use my tweezers. I like literally just dip in for a small amount, and I'm talking like a baby-sized amount, right? And then I take that. Let me see if I can find a tip that needs refilling here. Oh, where'd you go? There you are. All right, so this is one that I've been, nope, wrong one. Where'd I put it? Anyways, you would take something like this and you would touch it along, you know, you're going to kind of dip it in. Let me see. Do I have a spare?
Stop it.
I gotta have a spare tip someplace. Naomi, jeez. Here we go. Let me look in here. I got some. There we go. All right. So you're gonna take your tip, right? And this one is empty. All right, cool. So you're gonna take your Ghost, right? You're gonna have a little bit on there, and you're gonna kind of work it down into the barrel. Okay. This is what I do. You work it down into the barrel, and I actually recommend overfilling it a little bit because when it dries, it kind of dips into the single placer. So you want to kind of go over a little bit, right? And have like a little bit hanging out, because when this dries, it's going to sink in and it's going to turn clear. So right now it's white. It's gonna, sorry, Beans is seeing neighbors, I guess. This is gonna go from white to clear. That's why it's called Ghost. But you're gonna leave this sit probably overnight is good, or even a couple of hours to let it dry. It's almost like a liquid latex is how I would describe it. But I leave this sit overnight and then I can use it tomorrow. I've been basically just putting a little bit on the top of mine, you know, like right now it's wet, so it's not going to work very well, but you see how much extra I still have? That could fill a whole other pen, you know what I mean? But if you imagine this is $10, $11, this is going to last me forever. You can use this in a multi-placer, though I like putty. So I'm not going to use it in a multi-placer. I'm just going to use it in my single placer. But you can imagine me forever, right? So $11 is kind of a steal when you think about it. Like I said, you can get that on Diamond Painting Daily. But those are the tools that I'm using. I took all of that to talk about my tools, but you know, I figure it's good to let people know where you get things and how much they cost. I like knowing what I'm in for rather than, you know, like you get to you watch a haul video or whatever, and they don't talk about the price always. They just talk about where you can find it. And then I get sticker shock when I'm like, oh, intention pens, I didn't mention. Now this one with the intention pens, you can tell me whatever you want in it, right? But the intention pens are 100. Now, if that's like way out of your price range, I do resin pens, I do wood pens, I do hybrid pens that are not like this. So if you're looking for just a regular pen, you know, I have others. Anyways, I don't like going to something and then having sticker shock when something is regularly $135. Okay. So like a pen like this one that I got from Black Wolf Woodworking is 135 because he puts opal into the, there we go. He puts opal into his pen. Sorry, that's a little dark, but my light's over that way a little bit. So when I go to this site and I'm like, $135, holy crap, what's it made of? Opal? Well, yeah, it is. This one I got on a D stash, so I didn't pay that much for it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to let you know what you're paying for things because I'm on a budget. I figure other people are probably on a budget, or maybe you're not. And if you're not on a budget, let's be best friends. Anyways, so Saturday nights, we typically talk about arts, artwork, artists, that sort of thing. Welcome, Sarah. Hi, Jamie. But we talk about artwork, artists, that sort of thing. Last week we did a little quiz time. I'm going to mention again, yes, I know my nail is busted. I have to go get them fixed, but making pens is not conducive to keeping nice nails. So I'm going to have to find a happy medium for that. Wherein Naomi doesn't have to spend to get her nails done weekly because I can't afford that. All of that said, yeah, Saturday nights I like to talk about artists, artwork, and we did a quiz last time. This time I wanted to talk about art styles, maybe some examples of those art styles, and like some of the examples of artwork and the artists who work on them. Figured it'd be a little bit educational, what have you. Eventually I'm going to be probably reaching out to artists specifically, diamond painting artists specifically, and having them talk a little bit about, how they make their art, what their inspiration is, how they came into diamond painting. Do they diamond paint? All of the fun things. I've got that in the works. There's so many things like cooking right now that when I finally get everything in front of you guys, you're going to freak out. They're amazing, inexpensive press-on nails. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I could go a little. See, you know what drives me nuts about that though, Alex? Okay, so when I'm watching a video and somebody has press-on nails and they don't get the right fit of nail, okay? And they've got like, either an overhang or an underhang. Oh, that makes me real sad. Makes me real sad for them. And I never point it out because I'm, a nice person unless they ask me or whatever, but they don't typically ask, so I don't point out. But yeah, I don't like it when people wear the press-on nails and they don't make sure that it fits their actual nail. Amber probably knows what I'm talking about. She's a nail person. But yeah. And then like I've made the mistake of doing like you're a student. Let me, for cheaper, let me let you practice on my nails. Never again. Removal of the nails that she put on. It was a painful process. 1, 2, she ended up, everything that she did was like in layers of 3s. And it was not good. It was so not good. And because of how long it took her to complete doing my nails, it had actually bonded so hard with my real nail that it destroyed my nail bed, like destroyed it. So yeah, probably won't anytime soon be going to a student, but it was a friend of my daughter's and I was trying to help her out in getting her some practice hours. And yeah. did not make that mistake again. So I was like, oh, you know, $20 is a good deal. Sometimes, y'all, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. But yeah, so maybe with the press-on nails, you're surprised I haven't learned how to do it, how to do my own nails. Well, okay, so I tried. My problem is that I am not a good left-handed like painter. So like when I'm going on to my right hand, I can't put the acrylic on because I can't do it backwards or whatever. It's weird. So yeah, I tried to learn how to do it. And I can do it on another person, but not on myself. So yeah, there's that. Any hoozles. Oh, by the way, for those who may be on here, I'm expecting my son's significant other to come home with a friend. So if Beans has a moment, I apologize. Right now, I am working on the Morrigan from Chris a Bug. I would say I am probably at a third of the way done point. I started this one, I don't know, 4 days ago, officially. And I'm getting pretty far. I'm up to her knee. If we're looking at, let me grab the artwork here for you so you can see it. So I am finished with this section and below, and then I'm working on this area right here. That's the right there. That's here. So I'm getting pretty far with it. Like I said, I feel like I'm at, you know, about a row a day when I really like knuckle down on it. Though tonight I've got to go to bed at a decent time if I'm going to, you know, go on a date tomorrow. You were a practice head for my friend all the time. I was never mad, but if it caused pain, it shouldn't, I'd be mad. Yeah. I mean, granted, like, you know, if somebody was doing hair dyeing or something like that, I think I wouldn't mind being a practice head for that. I have a lot of hair, which really badly needs to get cut because oh, no, sugar, no. That was Dustin moving. Sugar, no. Stop it. Bean, stop it. Look at, here's the little crap starter. Here she is. Oh, don't bark at the camera. Don't bark at the camera. No, stop. But I'm at the point now where my hair is like down to the butt crack. So it's probably time to really like get it cut. Yeah, look at her. Look at her. She's got spittle on her bottom lip because she's got a bad overbite. Yeah, say hello, sugar. Oh, I'm looking at Dustin. Okay. Does she look proud of herself? Because she usually does. All right. Go be good. I'm tired of you putting me on blast. Yeah. Well, then she shouldn't be obnoxious. How about that? She's the one who always starts it. Like, it's funny because, you know, I expect Beans to bark because he's a guard dog. Like, that's what they do. They bark. But she is always the one that lets them know it's time to be barking. Thank you very much. I don't know about gorgeous. She's missing lots of teeth, but she does her best. She's a 2-fist dog. But she's got a really terrible overbite. And Chihuahuas, I mean, honestly, I don't know that I've met a Chihuahua over 5 that has all of its teeth. I don't think that's a thing. Small dogs typically lose their teeth pretty quickly. And like I said, I don't think I've met a Chihuahua over, or any really small dog over 5 that has its own teeth. But not has its own teeth, has all of its teeth. I don't know if you'd be putting dentures in a dog's mouth. That'd be real weird. That'd be real strange. Like, wait a minute. What did I just say? But yeah, she's like the alarm in the house and lets the other dogs know that they need to bark at nothing.
Car closed 2 blocks away.
Yeah, closes 2 blocks away. Oh, whoa. Stop. Okay, now they're home. Okay, now that was a reason to bark. Sorry. Beans or Bowie. Enough. Beans, enough. These dogs, I tell you. God. One moment. Let me go deal with this for a quick second. Okay, that time was not a false alarm because somebody was coming home. But yeah, if there's a car door that slams 2 blocks down the road, Sugar's the one that's letting everybody know, like, hey, everybody, there's something to be screaming at. You know how it goes. That's why you have cats. Yeah, honestly. Don't need teeth to bark. Yeah, no, you don't. You really, really don't. But yeah, so anywho, now that everybody is pretty much in the house that needs to be, moving right along. So I decided to go on to StreamYard tonight because, good Lord, Beans, because that way I can share my screen when I show you some examples of the different art styles that exist and examples of each art style. Now, yeah, you could sit and Google all of these things yourself, but I'm a visual person and I like to see things, firsthand myself. We can talk about the art style, if it's something that maybe I enjoy or whether or not you guys enjoy it. Maybe it's not your cup of tea. Is it the kind of thing that you would enjoy having in a diamond painting? Because there's so many styles out there that I have found. Like I don't want to, as Sarah puts it, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. That's not what I'm here for. So I will preface all of this by saying that just because something is not my particular favorite style of art does not mean that it should ever not be somebody else's. But that said, it might not be something that I would necessarily buy in a diamond painting or for my house. I can definitely appreciate art as art. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to purchase it or, whatever. There are art styles that I maybe don't fully understand. And we can talk about that too, and why maybe I don't understand it. And that said, like I said, I wouldn't ever tell somebody like, oh, you're not allowed to enjoy that type of art or whatever. Like, I love looking at landscapes, absolutely love looking at landscapes for diamond paintings, but I myself have not really worked on specifically like a landscape unless it was an abstract landscape, like Try to Follow and Grand Canal and Basilica Venice. I love those pieces. I adore those pieces. It surprised me that I would even enjoy working on a landscape, but it's not a typical landscape. It's not like a Pinson or a Dominic Davison or anything like that. It's specifically an abstract art style that I enjoy when it comes to landscapes. And I guess like even Starry Night, on Diamond Dots, Starry Night, I guess you could kind of call that a landscape, but that is impressionist art. Am I right, Dustin? Did I get it right? Van Gogh is impressionist? You don't remember? It's your favorite artist. I'm pretty sure he's an impressionist artist.
Probably.
But we'll find out if I'm right or wrong on that as we explore some of the different art styles. Sarah Definitely don't. Joel is all will bite without any tooths when they fall out. Yeah, I don't know. See, Sugar's not a biter. She's not a biter. The wolves this week would be beautiful as a print. Zero interest in doing it as a painting. Yeah, yeah. See, and that's the thing too. Like, I love animals. I adore animals of all kinds, but I don't necessarily want animals in my art. Like, just an animal, or if it is just an animal, it's a fantastical animal. It's a chimera. It's a dragon. It's part of the piece, but it's not maybe the focus of the piece. Like, yeah, there's ravens in this one, but I wouldn't choose to do an eagle flying or whatever. Just not something I would normally do. All that said, let's get into some different art styles. So, I did some researching, right? And I wanted to get just an overview of different art styles, along with some explanations of what it is, and then like examples of. So let me get this one prepped. Boop, boop, boop. And talk a little bit about the first style, which would be, let me see if I can, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm trying to just open the image. There we go. Bam. Okay. So let me share my screen.
52, not including my propagations.
Oh, okay. We have a number, you guys, for Dustin's succulents and cactuses.
52 pots.
52 pots, not including propagations. But some of those have 2 or 3 to a pot.
Yes.
Okay. So 52 pots, but we don't know how many plants. Eventually, I think he's going to get me there, but we'll figure that out.
I'll have to get one of those apps and go through and put everything.
Yeah, something like that. Get an app. Okay, so this one is The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci, and this is an example of Renaissance. This was a cultural movement that began in Italy in the 14th century, and it spread. It was emphasizing a revival of classical learning and wisdom with a focus on humanism, proportion, perspective, and naturalism in art. And other examples would be, so that one is The Last Supper. Other examples would be like The Birth of Venus. Let me pull that up for you. And that is Botticelli. Let me move to that screen. And we'll go like so. And you can see the Botticelli. It's a little small. I apologize, but that's The Birth of Venus. And these are examples of Renaissance art style. Now, I'm reading some comments. Let's see. Sarah, same. I have no need to diamond paint one, though. In it, sure, but not in it. Yeah. All right, Sir Succulent 52 is what they said. I got to hear about the fire at Somerset House that holds a Van Gogh's self-portrait. I did not hear about the fire at Somerset. Well, no, maybe Sarah mentioned something about the fire at Somerset House that has Van Gogh's self-portrait.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, apparently. And I love Birth of Venus. I would love to do this as a diamond painting, 100%. I think that I love the Renaissance style. Another one would be if we're going into statue work, David by Michelangelo is another. I won't show for, reasons. I don't have nudities, but does Birth of Venus have nudities actually? No, she's covering all her bits. So yeah, I personally would paint the crap out of the Birth of Venus. I just love the Renaissance style, and I don't think it's necessarily because, you know, I worked at a Renaissance fair. That's not even the same thing. I mean, we were portraying the 1500s, not the 14th century, and we were depicting a place in the UK, not in Italy, which is where the Renaissance movement began. But if you're looking for famous Renaissance artists, you're looking at Da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Botticelli. Absolutely have always adored pretty much all Renaissance art. Yeah, a print of it in a fabulous frame would also look good. And I feel like the Birth of Venus is on so many things, right? That you can get the Birth of Venus on a towel, it seems like nowadays. So I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do a Birth of Venus as a diamond painting, but I'd imagine, you know, you can get customs done, and especially when something is in the what's the word I'm looking for? I always forget what the word is for things that are out in the open market, like free IP, whatever. But you can get those old masters because they're not common law. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's not common law. It's Creative Commons. I think it's Creative Commons is what you were thinking of, but it's somebody help me out. What is that? Jaded Gem Shop has it. I'm 90% sure. That public domain. Thank you, Jamie. That is not what you said, asshole. So yeah, you can get customs done if it's not available at like Jaded Gem Shop. You can go through Lazy River Crafts for customs. I know Dreamer Designs does customs if you want to deal with Dreamer Designs. But yeah, so there's lots of that you can get custom work done. And the Renaissance is a good example because all of that would be public domain. The next style, let me get up my example of the next style. Let's see. It is a Caravaggio. I want to make sure that I can get something that is not super dark. There we go. Perfect. All right, let me share this screen. This is called The Calling of St. Matthew. This is an example of Baroque. Not broke, B-R-O-K-E, but Baroque, like the joke in Beauty and the Beast. If it's not Baroque, don't fix it. Baroque art emerged in the 17th century, and it was characterized by a dramatic use of light and shadow. Now you can see there's really intense light and shadow in this piece. There's usually intense emotions. There's a sense of movement. And it usually often it depicted religious themes or really grandiose scenes or elaborate details. Now, The Calling of St. Matthew is by Caravaggio. And again, this would be something that would be considered public domain. You can see a lot of light and shadow in this piece. I wouldn't necessarily call it a grandiose theme, right? But lots of light and shadow. I think they are, I don't know what they're doing in this piece, but maybe I can find out. Let's find out. In The Calling of St. Matthew, it's the moment Jesus Christ calls on the tax collector Matthew to follow him. And apparently this hangs, where is it? I'm trying to see. Oh, it doesn't tell me. But yes, this is a story from the Gospel of Matthew. I don't know too much about that personally. But let's see if we can find another for you. Now, this to me would be a little too dark of a piece for me to diamond paint. I would have a really hard time. Just because it's oh, well, that's tiny. I need a bigger picture of the next one. It's so dark. Man, would that be a lot of 310, a lot of black. And I don't know if I would be able to manage that, to be honest with you. I just, yeah, oof, goodness. Also, I'm not much for religious images, so it's not necessarily my style. What's up, Michelle? Hi. Hello, hello. The one with the diamond art does too. Okay, perfect. And Jada Gem Shop does have it, if you are looking for the Birth of Venus. But yeah, something like this is so dark, and I wouldn't necessarily select something of a religious imagery. That's not my religion, but it is a beautiful piece. Let me show you another example. This is a statue. This is the Ecstasy of Saint Teresa, or Teresa. I'm not sure if they say Teresa. A beautiful statue, right? Let me see if we can get a little bit of backstory on that. It is Italian. It was carved by Bernini. And Bernini actually was well known in his day for creating a lot of statues for the Catholic Church. You can see Bernini statues all over Italy and Rome. But let's see if it'll tell me. It is Teresa, I believe it's Teresa, of Avila, a Spanish Carmelite nun swooning in a state of religiosity, while an angel holding a spear stands over her, following her own account of a vision that she had. And it is a beautiful piece. Another would be Las Meninas. Let's see if we can get a Las Meninas for you. Oh, if I can spell things correctly. Las Meninas. All right, let's see. Oh, they're so tiny. Oh, I recognize this painting. Can I get a bigger image, though? Come on, bigger image. There we go. Okay. Let me share with you this other Las Meninas by Diego Velasquez. I have seen this piece. Look at how realistic those faces are, though. Can I tell you why I know of this piece specifically? From Animal Crossing. If you play Animal Crossing, you know that there's a fox named Red, and Red sells you artwork, some of it real and some of it fake. And the way that you can tell with his artworks is like something is off from the original. And the man who's standing in the doorway there with his arm up, it's bent a little differently in the piece that you get from Red if it's fake. And so, yeah, I know.
Isn't the lady in the painting? Or is that a doorway?
No, it's the dude standing in the doorway, and his arm is different.
Pointing at a different number.
Yeah, pointing at something else or whatever he's doing. So yeah, I know about this art piece because of Animal Crossing. In fact, there's lots of paintings from Animal Crossing that I only know because of Animal Crossing. So there you go. In fact, you can get the statue of David in that, and I usually turn it around so you're looking at his butt instead of his wang. Remember, we talked about the hanging wangs and breaking them off and having a pile of peens. Yeah. Art class tonight, I see. Yeah, well, it's okay if you don't retain it. Now, this one being a little bit brighter, although you can see there's intense light in this particular piece, that I would love to diamond paint something like this. Like, it is seriously right up my alley. It's something that has enough going on in it. Now, granted, you're either probably going to have this one pretty large, or it's going to have to be, cropped or something. I feel like, in order to get all of that exquisite detail in it, because we're working with pixels essentially, and it would either have to be like the size of the side of my house in order to get all of the detail in pixel form, or it would have to be, cropped or something to get all that detail. But the Baroque style is absolutely beautiful. Thanks for making me feel like I'm not alone. Listen, I'm probably not going to remember all of this either. I just wanted to talk a little bit about some different styles, and I figure, why the heck not? We're not doing a quiz this time. So let's see. Next up, we're going to look for... we're going to talk about the Rococo era. Not Rocky Rococo. Oh my gosh, you're terrible. Stop. They do have fantastic pizza though. Not even gonna lie.
I know it sucks that they're all closing down though. There's only a couple.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Well, that's lame.
You got the one in Madison, I think, and then Rockford.
Ooh. Okay, so this one in the Rococo era, I think some people are going to recognize pretty quickly. And that is the swing. And I am not going to murder dude's name. Jean Honoré Fragonard. Nah, you got me. Don't ask me to try and pronounce that. But Rococo developed in the early 18th century as a more playful and decorative extension of Baroque. It was focusing on lightness and elegance and the use of pastel colors. It often included themes of like love, nature, whimsical scenes. But this one is one that I feel like people recognize the most. I mean, they even reference this in, which movie was it? Tangled. Not Tangled, Frozen, right? She's got it in the Hall of Artworks when she's, singing her song and talking about the coronation day and whatever. But there is a depiction of the swing in the art pieces in the hall there. And so most people recognize the swing. Are you taking both?
Yes.
Or just one?
Just beans.
Oh, okay. Because, Bowie will be the quiet.
Yeah, and she's already been today.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully he'll be able to relax a little bit.
We got rain down.
Now, this one, I know for a fact that people have been working on in diamond paint form. Sarah was working on this piece. I'm not sure what... you can say it for me later. Thank you, because I have no freaking idea. I know that Sarah's been working on this piece, and the last that I saw of it, if you're on the Discord, you can take a look at, it's probably in WIPs somewhere, but it looked amazing. Absolutely amazing. I was surprised with how well this particular piece translated to diamond painting at all. They also used it in a Richard Chamberlain Cinderella musical. Ooh, okay. I love this piece. I have no freaking idea what's going on in it. Yeah, I could look it up and I could tell you all about it, whatever. But the part that I love the most is like there's a dude on the ground, there's dude in the back doing the pushing. Rococo style is when Baroque style takes its meds. Yes. Yes, Kat. It sounds like that would probably be right. Either that or we're in our manic swing of our bipolar disorder. It could also be depicted in that way too. Just taking our meds and now we're in the upswing. But like I said, I absolutely love this piece. And from what I have seen of work being done on it as a diamond painting, like all of my yes. Oh my goodness. I don't know what it is about the classical styles that I enjoy. I don't know if it's the realism or if it's just the beauty of the pieces from that period. I just absolutely I love it. I love it all day long. You wish you'd gotten it bigger for some of the details. Yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that. So next one would be neoclassicism. All of that big word. In the mid-18th century. Okay, let me see if I can get. There we go. All right, let's see if we can get this image. Nope, not big enough. Try and get you a good image here. There we are. Is that bigger? Nope, that is not bigger. Trying to find one that isn't like giving me yeah, let's see this. Let's try that one. That's better. Okay, here we go. We'll try this one here. This is the Oath of the Horati. And this would be an example of neoclassicism. This emerged in the mid-18th century or the 1700s as a response to the Rococo style, emphasizing simplicity and symmetry and classical themes inspired by ancient Greece and Rome. It focused on order and reason and moral values. This one is the Oath of the Horati. And then let's look at one other piece. Let's go with this one, I think. Painting. Beautiful paintings. We love them. No, all of these little teeny links, I tell you. All right, let's go with that one. There we go. A larger image to look at. We're going to share this screen. The Death of Socrates. This one is, I don't know about necessarily symmetry, but definitely you can see a classical theme inspired by ancient Greece and Rome. The Death of Socrates. Let's see what we can find out about it. The Death of Socrates is an oil on canvas, painted by Jacques-Louis David, or David. The painting was part of the neoclassical style. It depicted subjects from the classical age. In this case, the story of the execution of Socrates as told by Plato in his Phaedo. Phaedo. Really beautiful painting. And again, it's still kind of in that classical style where that is doable. It's not necessarily my particular brand of artwork, but I think it's lovely. The colors are all very same. I feel like I would get maybe a little bit bored with all of the reds and the yellow and blue, and you know what I mean? Like, it's not vibrant and colorful, and I tend to really love color. Those guys got some muscles, right? Dude in the middle, he's like probably 65 years old and near death at that point, I'm sure. Like, wow. In the upswing. Yes. Punny. Punny. But the neoclassicism. Let's look at another. How about from another style? This will be, it's a little muddy. Let's try. Here we go. I know one. Perfect. This is one I know at least one person will enjoy. This one from, there we go. There we are. This one is called Liberty Leading the People. This is an example by Eugene Delacroix. This is an example of Romanticism. This arose in the late 18th and early 19th centuries as a reaction against the Industrial Revolution and the rationalism of the Enlightenment. It emphasized emotion, individualism, and the sublime in nature. This piece is really lovely. There is a bit of a boobie out, and I apologize for that, but I mean, you know, when you're fighting for your independence and whatnot, sometimes a boob's gonna fall out. There's not full-on nips, so I think we're safe there, but or at least not that you can really see. This is Liberty Leading the People, and it is a very lovely piece. I know about this piece because this is a piece that someone I know is diamond painting or will be diamond painting, got it as a diamond painting. Now, it's not necessarily something that I would probably select for myself, but it really is a striking piece. I find that, you know, I'm not a huge history buff. And so, you know, I might not necessarily select something that is a moment out of history or depicting a moment out of history, but it really is a beautiful piece. I mean, you got a little boy, he's got guns in both hands. You got top hat dude that looks sort of like he belongs in Bridgerton. And then pantsless dude in the front wearing a sock. There's a whole lot happening in here. But it is an example of Romanticism and a really striking piece. Very striking piece. Yeah, got it yesterday. And it reminds, yes, and it does. It reminds me of Les Mis. I mean, because isn't the song he's singing at the end, he's basically standing on a pile of, I don't remember if it's like items or if it's people, now that I'm thinking about it. It's been a hot minute since I've seen Les Mis, though. But you're right. It definitely reminds me of Les Mis. And I don't know a whole lot about the French Revolution, and just what I have briefly read about in, you know, history class or whatever, but it wasn't something that struck me enough to do more research on, though I know that Sarah loves some French some French history for sure. For sure. Oh, it's both. Oh, yeah, it could have been both. It could have been both. Yeah, I'm saying the little boy, he's got both guns, like bang, bang. Next style, let's see. We have realism. Okay, let me find a good example of realism. We could probably go with that one. It's very, very dark. There we go. That's a better image. Okay, bam. It's not huge, but it'll work. It will work. This one is called The Gleaners. And this is an example of realism. This emerged in the mid-19th century, focusing on depicting everyday life and ordinary people with truth and accuracy. Often it's highlighting social issues. It was a reaction against the idealism of Romanticism. The Gleaners is by Jean-Francois Millet. It depicts three peasant women gleaning a field of wheat after the harvest. It's featuring in a sympathetic way what were then the lowest ranks of rural society. And it was not received well by the French upper class. They did not like this painting at all. I feel like, back then, it seemed like the people that were being depicted in pieces of art were people who could afford to pay for that art. It was not depicting the lower class. It was not depicting the everyday person. It was depicting people in their opulence and in their wealth. And you weren't really getting a picture of what was happening in the world. So I could see why the French upper class had a problem with this painting, because it wasn't showing them in their opulence and finery. It was depicting just some ladies doing their jobs, or conversely, maybe they're not doing their jobs. Maybe they were, trying to get food. I don't know. But I would imagine that gleaning is the act of collecting leftover crops after they've been commercially harvested. It's described on the Wikipedia. It's a practice described in that became a legally enforced entitlement of the poor in a number of Christian kingdoms. So it'd be modern day dumpster diving. It was like food recovery, basically. And that would be considered an example of realism. All right, let's see. Ooh. Next up, let's look at we're going to look at an example. No, that's tiny. Stop being tiny. That's better. Here we go. Let's take a look at this work by Degas. It is an example of Impressionism. This was developed in the late 19th century, characterized by a focus on capturing the effects of light and color, often through quick brushstrokes and outdoor scenes. It emphasized the artist's impression of a moment rather than detailed realism. Like, it would be, you're not necessarily sitting and studying a scene or a landscape or a basket of fruit. You were depicting something that you maybe were painting from memory of a moment in time that happened. This is the ballet class by Edgar Degas, sorry. And I personally enjoy this piece. Now, would I diamond paint this piece? I think I would have a very difficult time with that because there's a lot of light colors. I feel like some pieces, just due to the amount of light that is happening in the piece, wouldn't necessarily look right in a diamond painting because there would be so much that would be lost there. Uh-oh, what did Kat say? I didn't see it. Hell with today's inflation, I'm gleaning at the grocery store. Like when you go and you're checking the grapes. Yeah, I go check the grapes all the time. Like one grape here, one grape there. This bundle might be all right. Really, I'm just standing around eating grapes. Yep. No, I would never do that. Woodman's grocery store. Please don't come arrest me for stealing grapes. Goodness. So yeah, that would be that would be an example. I love that piece. I can sit in front of it for hours at the Met. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I don't know that I could do it in a diamond painting just because of how light it is. I feel like a lot of the detail would get lost in diamond painting form, but definitely love the piece on its own. Definitely, I like impressionist art. Other examples of impression would be, let's see, Impression Sunrise by Monet. Let me see if I can pull that up. Now this piece could be definitely a piece that would be good for a diamond painting ish. Let me get this open and you guys can take a look. See, it's a little bit small, but we'll take a look at it anyways. This is Impression Sunrise. I love this piece. I absolutely love it. This is a piece by Monet. It was credited with inspiring the name for the Impressionist movement, but it's absolutely lovely. I'm just reading a little bit about it. Oh, this one had been stolen in 1985 from the Monet Museum, but it was returned in 1990. But he called it Impression Sunrise due to the hazy painting style. And this is what he ended up with. Like this would be all right as a diamond painting, just because of the swaths of color, though you'd probably get bored with specific, like doing that weird milky mauve at the back, like I don't know that necessarily you'd have a lot of fun diamond painting that one, but it would definitely work as a diamond painting. A whole lot of color blocking. Yeah, definitely. You borrowed it for a while and took it back in 1985. Well, thank you for putting. Appreciate that. And for the world to appreciate. The next style is let's see, post-impressionism. Let me get you a post-impressionism that you're all gonna know. Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. Okay, let's see. Looking for a good image. How big are you going to be? But you're going to get the point pretty quickly. So let's share the screen on this piece right here. Starry Night by Van Gogh is considered post-impressionism. Post-impressionism is a broad term that refers to the varied artistic styles that followed impressionism. Artists sought to express deeper emotions and used more abstract forms, bold colors, and strong lines. And as we all know, I so freaking badly want the new DAC version of Starry Night. All of the specials that they have in it, like, ugh, I peaked. I'm gonna be honest, I peaked. Alexia is currently working on the newer version of the Starry Night, and oh my God, is it absolutely beautiful. I didn't want to peek, but I had to. I was so mad, but it's gorgeous. Like, it's just gorgeous. A 5-year unapproved loan. It can make you cry in person. I bet. I'm willing to bet. I know that Van Gogh used lapis to depict the blues, and just a lovely piece. And now I know that it's post-impressionism. Love that piece the most. But would I do this in diamond painting form? I have. I've done a diamond dots version of this piece, and it still remains one of my favorite finishes, along with Van Gogh's Cafe at Night. I just love Van Gogh as a painter. And yes, if you want to pronounce his name correctly, it's Van Gogh, like Goff. I'm not saying goth as in, like, you know, Sisters of Mercy, the band. We need a restock. Yes, we need a restock ASAP. I would agree with that. Or at least when I have money would be good. Because the Diamond Dots version, I'm sure, is not going to hold up to that particular piece. With all the specials and just how detailed it looks. Oh, it's so good. So good. All right, let's stop sharing that. Next up, we're going to talk about symbolism and the style of symbolism. And again, I'm going to use examples of things that you've probably seen before, because, you know, it makes the most sense to get you're going to be familiar with. This one, I think you will be very familiar with. It is Edvard Munch, The Scream. This is an example of symbolism. This emerged in the late 19th century as an artistic and literary movement that emphasized the use of symbols and metaphors to represent ideas and emotions and the mystical. It featured oftentimes dreamlike and fantastical imagery. Now, this piece I have in my museum edition from Paint Gem, and I have to tell you, I love it as a little thing. In fact, I have a tiny Starry Night. I have a lot of different art styles in that museum edition. So highly recommend Paint Gem's little museum edition. It's such a good one. And I would love to see this done as a larger diamond painting image. I think it would be gorgeous. So if I'll have to look and see if I can maybe find a post review or anything on YouTube from somebody who might have completed it. Because if so, I'd love to see it as a diamond painting, like larger style, completed. This is definitely a favorite piece. And there's a reason why it's so well known. Dustin actually completed a stained glass piece of this, the Scream, and it's good. It's good stuff. Well, he's got to fix it because it was in a window upstairs, and I think it just like blew the wind really, really hard at that window and caused it to fall down. He's got to fix it because it like snapped the came, which is the stuff that holds stained glass together. The actual metal that holds it together. So he's got to fix it, but yeah, Dustin did a stained glass piece of this, and it is a really, really cool stained glass piece. Um, one of my favorites that we've done by far. But yeah, this is one that I feel like people would definitely recognize from the symbolism movement. Next is Art Nouveau. Now, this here is going to be another piece that people are going to recognize. Like I said, it's always good to pick them recognizable pieces because you're going to know what it is when you see it. Let's go with The Kiss by Klimt. Now, Art Nouveau was an international style that flourished from the 1890s to the early 1900s. It was characterized by organic and flowing lines, intricate patterns, and often depicted nature and the female form. So obviously here we're seeing an example of intricate pattern, flowing lines. I've seen this in diamond painting form, and it is really beautiful. I believe this was one of the ones that Diamond Dots did in their like masters editions where they were like $300 and they used different sized drills and really just it looked great. And I think that this particular style, yeah, same. Every time I look at this one, my brain goes, what am I looking at? Yes, I agree. 100%. Especially because of the way like his head is turned and I'm like, what is even going on here? But seeing it completed, it lends itself, I think, to diamond painting because of those intricate patterns. I feel like it definitely it suits it for sure. But yeah, there was a very expensive version that was done by Diamond Dots, and it turned out really lovely. Your brain saw an omelet, a Western, probably a Western omelet. And then next one, oh, yep, here we go. Let me get you. I think it's that one. Yes, perfect. All right, we're going to grab this one. Oh, there's no. Where's the image? Well, let's try this one from the. Oh, never mind. It's got boobies. We can't be putting that up there. Not with boobies. Let's go with this one. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Give me. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Now, my brain with this one in particular goes, what in the actual heck am I looking at? This one is called Violin and Candlestick. And this is an example of Cubism. Now, Cubism was pioneered by Pablo Picasso and Georges Braque in the early 20th century. It broke objects down into these geometric shapes and reassembled them in some abstract form. It challenges traditional perspectives and it emphasizes multiple viewpoints. So you might not be looking at a violin and a candlestick angle. I mean, I see a violin in there, kind of. I see a candlestick in there, kind of. I feel like when I look at something like this, it reminds me of the movie The Labyrinth, where, you know, like your brain is coming at you from different angles and it challenges your perspective. And I like that about Cubism generally. I enjoy Picasso because of that challenge of perspective. Often, I'll talk about life being standing in a forest, right? You and I could be looking at the same tree, but if you're standing on the other side of the tree, then you're seeing a part of the tree I'm not seeing. And it doesn't mean that I can't try to see your perspective, that I can't walk to where you are and enjoy the tree from the perspective that you're looking at it in. But I'm typically looking from my perspective, and sometimes we have to take a walk around that tree for each other, just for sanity and keeping things, friendly and whatever, like looking at it from someone else's perspective. And so I like artwork like Cubism that challenges that and makes us look at it from a different way. Oh, thank you, Kat. But this is why I like Cubism. Yeah, you're looking at a jumbled up mess, but you're looking at 100 perspectives all at one time. And I do love that about Cubism. I do. And I would do a painting like this painting. Absolutely would. Even though it's a bunch of beige, I don't even care. Don't even care. I finished a piece that's called Dala a Guitar. Do I have that? Hold on, let me see. I do. Just a moment. Let me show you a piece that I did. This one is called Dala a Guitar. This was something that I got from Diamond Dots. Let me close my screens up here. Whoops, I closed the wrong screen. That's okay. This is a piece called Dala a Guitar that I did from Diamond Dots. And this is an example of Cubism. And I freaking love this piece so much. There's a musical note in here. There is a guitar in there. It's challenging your perspective. And I love, love, love this piece. Like, here's another clef. I love everything about this piece. You can look at it in multiple angles and see different things. And I love this piece that I did from Diamond Dots. One of my absolute favorites that I've ever done. So that's kind of why I leave it like hanging up around, because I love it. I love the piece. Okay, let's see. Let me get my next one here. I'm going to figure out where it went. There we go. All right. Let's go with I want to find one that you will know when you see it. Where in the heck? Oh, naked people. Nope, can't be doing all them naked people. Or we might only get naked people. Well, let's try this. That's one without naked peoples, I think. Okay. Let's go like so. And we'll open this image. There we go. Here we are. This one is Matisse, and this is Woman with a Hat. This is an example of Fauvism, which was developed in the early 20th century, and it was characterized by the use of bold, non-natural colors and simple forms. The movement was short-lived, but it had a really significant impact on modern art. And Matisse, really, when you're looking for examples of Fauvism, you're going to find pretty much Matisse is the start and end of that particular movement. It's a short one, but it's worth noting because it is specifically a movement of art. So I'll let you look at that while I look for the next one. Let's see. There we go. And I suppose the piece that, let's see. There we go. There's another one. All right. The next art style is Expressionism. And let me get you your Expressionism example here. There we are. This one is called Blue Rider. The Blue Rider by Vasily Kandinsky. Not sure how to pronounce that, but I believe it's Vasily because it's W. It emerged in the early 20th century, and it focused on representing emotional experience rather than a physical reality. So they used distorted forms and exaggerated colors, really bold brush strokes to convey feelings. The Blue Rider in particular, yes, I'm betting it's Vasily because he's from Bavaria. But this is in a private collection in Zurich. Let's see. It's a horseman in a blue cloak galloping through a meadow on a white horse with a forest in the background. And this was an important milestone in Kandinsky's artistic transition from Impressionism to modern abstract art, of which he was one of the pioneers. Now, something like that would be, I feel like, really fitting for a diamond painting. Yeah, Diamond Dots has some good pieces, I'm telling you. This piece I feel like would be really good in a diamond painting because of how it doesn't necessarily be so like bold in your face. What is it? You know what I mean? There's not line art. You don't need to know exactly what you're looking at. It can be a shape of, like, that horse looks like something that I could paint as a horse. You know what I mean? It's the trees. I could paint the trees like that. I could probably do this style and get away with it too, because, you know, I've said I'm not an artist. I'm crafty. I can do some crafty things, but I'm definitely not an artist. But I do think that this particular piece would lend itself to diamond painting. And it's a landscape. You could get away with calling that a landscape if you wanted to. But yeah, you could get away with doing something like that, and you wouldn't have to worry about it being super, super detailed. So a win, I feel like. Yes, happy little trees. You could do some happy little trees and little clouds happening in there. We like that. We definitely like that. I enjoy it. Let's see the next one. Ooh, yep. This one you're going to recognize pretty immediately, I think. I just got to get the got to get the picture up for you. And we talked about this last week. Most people know this painting. They just don't realize that they know this painting. That happens a lot with paintings, I feel like, because we don't necessarily know what the piece is called, but we know what the piece looks like. And this is definitely one of those pieces that's like, I don't necessarily know what this one's called, but I know what it is. This one is called The Persistence of Memory, and this is a piece by Salvador Dali. This is an example of surrealism. Now, surrealism actually developed in the 20s, in the 1920s, influenced by the theories of Sigmund Freud. It sought to explore the unconscious mind through dreamlike and fantastical imagery. And it often put in realistic elements, but in a really bizarre way. So in this image, you see the melting clocks, and the landscape is just crazy looking. There's like a clock hanging over a tree branch, and Salvador Dali was definitely, excuse me, known as a surrealist painter. Most people know surrealism when you say Dali. This one is called The Persistence of Memory, but the melting clocks is its name to Sarah. Yeah, melting clocks painting. That's how I remember it. It's like if somebody's like, oh yeah, The Persistence of Memory, I'd be like, what? If they said the painting with the melting clocks, I'm like, oh, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. This would be a super cool diamond painting, and I would love to have this piece. And I think it's because I really enjoy a surrealist kind of artwork. I feel like Try to Follow is a piece of surreal artwork because it takes your norm and bends it and flexes it and moves it around. It has dreamlike qualities to it. And I think even though it's not surrealist art necessarily, I feel like the art is surreal, if that makes sense. I feel like it makes sense to me. But looking for the next one. There it is. But yeah, I adore this particular piece and would love to see this as a diamond painting. Let's put more in there. Custom, and it's a landscape. Yeah, technically it would count as for sure. Now, because this one came out in the 1920s, I don't know if it counts as public domain. It should, right? Should. Unless the Dali estate or whatever paid to update those those rights or whatever. It may not be in the public domain. I'm not certain. I'd have to look that up, but would definitely like to have a Salvador Dali piece. I mean, even Salvador Dali's self-portrait type dealie, he had like a rockin' mustache. I think even that would be fun. Like, just Salvador Dali was a very natty dresser. Like, he was very stylish. He in fact, when you see his paintings and then you see him, you're like, yeah, he looks like on 1/1 it moves to 1929. Oh, well, boo. Oh, wait, if it was before 28, then it'd be all right. Because I would not mind having that one as a diamond painting. I think any Dali would be really cool to have as a diamond painting. But yeah, the melting clocks one though is definitely a classic, you know. And who knows, it may already exist out there because it is a classic, right? He was a spiffy little guy. Yes, definitely. I would call him spiffy for sure. Okay, let's see. Next one. Let me see if I can get you. Oh, okay. Let me get you a picture. Where in the heck? There we go. Getting you a picture. There we go. Now this one is probably not going to look like much to you because of how small it'll end up being. But I think if you look at it hard enough, you're going to figure out who the artist is on this one. This one is called Number 5, 1948. And this is by Jackson Pollock. This is an example of abstract expressionism. This emerged in the 40s in the US, and it emphasizes spontaneous gestural abstraction. It was a post-World War II art movement, and it focused on the expression of emotion and individuality. Excuse me, let me see if I can find you another example. Let's see. Let's go with this one. And we're going to stop sharing this screen, and we're going to share this one. This one is called Woman, I believe it's Woman 1 by Kooning. This is another piece of abstract expressionist artwork. But I don't know what in the heck I'm looking at, but I know that they tended to just like do rather than think about what they were when they were making these pieces of art. It was more based on a feeling than what you were actually doing. And this is the kind of artwork I could get into doing because, again, not that it doesn't take talent to do this. Please do not take that incorrectly. It looks like the kind of artwork that I can do because I have feelings, and I could have feelings with a paintbrush. You know what I mean? And art really is art based on who sees it as artwork, right? Like something that is not something I'm into, like this particular style of abstraction is not really what I like. I would say I'm more into an abstract real sort of artwork, but this really doesn't do it for me. It doesn't blow up my skirt, you know what I'm saying? Brava to anyone who it does, but Jackson Pollock and Kooning and those particular artists, not really for me personally. I could take it or leave it and be all right with either result. It's giving I sat down in the bathtub and the water was too hot. Yep. Yeah, no, I know it moves each year, Sarah. It has to, because that I just couldn't remember. I thought the rule was 75 years, right? But obviously if it's 1929, then that's not 75 years. That'd be 95 years. Maybe it's 95 years. Don't ask me. I don't know things. I don't know stuff. It's kidding. I sat in the bathtub and the water was too hot. I gotta soak that in for a second, Kat. I just need to soak it in. Oh my God, no. That's terrible. It's like 70 and sometime after death. After a chest and arm day at the gym. Very that. It's very that. Okay. Next one. Let's get you this one, which everybody recognizes. Okay, here we go. And we're going with this one. Now, this particular style, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's not really a style that I understand and therefore would necessarily want to buy. Even to hang on my wall. This is Campbell's Soup Can by Warhol, Andy Warhol. This is an example of pop art. Now, this was developed in the 1950s and 60s, and it draws inspiration from popular culture, media, and consumerism. And maybe that's why I don't really get it. I mean, I get it, right? I get it. I don't, it doesn't speak to me as artwork, I guess, is the best way to explain that. I get it, but it doesn't speak to me. It often used imagery from advertisements or comic strips and everyday objects, and it blurs the line between high art and commercial art. But this one, the Campbell soup cans, you know, it wasn't really something that I understand. Although, like Jamie, I did enjoy his Marilyn Monroe, which is a more, I guess it's recognizable with a person, but it's another example of consumerism. But in that case, it would be, like movie media, television media, whatever, the moving picture as consumerism rather than food or product, that sort of consumerism. It's just not, like I said, I think it's interesting, and I think it's, I get the point, but it's not something. His self-portrait was like the Monroe. Yeah, and it was good like the Monroe. And I like them. I understand them. I just don't get that as artwork, But that said, something like pop art works well in certain diamond paintings because of how poppy the colors are. Tends to be bright and vibrant and almost a caricature of the thing that it's representing. Because there's another one of these Campbell soup cans where it's like the Campbell soup cans are all different colors and bright and vibrant and really, really cool. But this is just one example of pop art. Let's see. This one. Trying to find something that's not a sculpture. Okay, it's another sculpture. Okay, well, I'm going to just give you the picture of the sculpture. This is art. I can't really say that I totally 100% understand it as art. Like I said, I understand the concept. I don't understand the art. This is called Equivalent 8. And it's by Carl Andre, and it's literally fire bricks. It's 120 fire bricks arranged in 2 layers in a 6x10 rectangle. That's it. This is an example of minimalism, right? The other one that I was going to show you was going to be Die by Tony. It's a cube. It's literally just a black cube. But this is minimalism. It emerged in the 60s as a reaction against the complexity of abstract expressionism, and it focused on simplicity. It used basic shapes, monochromatic colors, and a focus on form and material rather than the subject matter. But let's be honest, it's a stack of bricks. Like it's 2 sets of bricks stacked on each other. It's like that Reggie Watts song that I shared. It's that. Do you know what song I'm talking about? It's called, well, I'm going to say it. It's called Fuck Shit Stack. That's pretty much what I'm seeing here is a fuck shit stack. It's a stack of fuck shit on top of itself. Like, that's all I see. It's just bricks, you know? Pardon my dumbs. You can take that picture at Menards. There you go. Hi, Sue. Welcome. It's flat Jenga. Yeah, I don't know. But if you're at Menards tomorrow, you could get this and be a bajillionaire, right? With minimalism. Like I said, I understand the concept of minimalism. I just don't understand the art. I don't get it. I'm probably never going to get it. Never going to get it. Never going to get it. En Vogue, I'm never going to get it. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, I'm never going to get that. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But I don't think you'd be able to do this in, I mean, you could do it in diamond painting, I suppose. Or you could just diamond paint a brick. And there you go. Done. About like the black, white canvas, cow grazing in a field of wheat. Yeah, I don't know, man. Or you could just leave your canvas blank and call it. It sold for millions. Okay, well, there you go. You could just leave your. Hi, Noelle, welcome. Or you could just leave your canvas totally blank and easiest paint gem ever. Yep. And then you can call it art. And it sold for millions. I am in the wrong line of work, I guess. I don't know something because, like, I don't understand minimalism, but like I said, I get the concept. I don't get the art. And then just a couple more examples left. Let's go with, get rid of that. And let's see. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Oh. What the heck? This is going to make me angry. There we go. Okay. This one is harder to show without showing a video, and I'm not going to show a video. But let's see if I can find images, just an image. Well, it's little. It's teeny, but you'll be able to see it. This one is called The Artist is Present. This one is an example of conceptual art. This emerged in the 60s and 70s, and it emphasizes the idea or concept behind the artwork rather than the physical object itself. It challenged traditional notions of art and focused on intellectual engagement. Now, this one is called The Artist is Present, but there's another called I Like America and America Likes Me, and then One in Three Chairs. Now, The Artist is Present. Let me see if I can. Basically, the artist is just sitting there, it looks like. Now, obviously, you can't do a diamond painting out of this. Now, I have seen some very interesting pieces of this conceptual art where the artist is present and, they're just sitting or whatever. There was one instance where the artist had a sign. They were basically just sitting there. They had a sign that basically said, you can do anything you want to me. And people did a lot of things like they spit on the artist. They threw food at the artist. They slapped the artist. They did literally whatever to this artist. And by the end, the artist was covered in filth, and it was really messed up, honestly. Staring contest round 3. um, and it's not, again, it's not something that I fully get. I feel like, when we go all the way back to when we started talking about art in the beginning of this live, the art was very different, right? Like now we're talking about either more or less of the artist being present, just all of these things, right? Like you have to make it more and you have to make it bigger, or sometimes you have to make it nothing. And it's art, right? It's all kind of in the eye of the beholder, and what is art to a person. I mean, this could be considered a type of performance art, but it's art to someone, right? Again, not really something I do. I think I would probably promptly lose a staring contest, but there it is. Ooh, I finally get to use one of my pixie dusts. Good to see you as well, Noelle. But that is conceptual art. Okay. Next one, let me see if I can get a good. Well, this is a statue again, but it's a little freaky deaky. Let's go with this one here. There we go. This one is called Michael Jackson and Bubbles. And this is an example of postmodernism. This developed in the late 20th century as a reaction against modernist ideals, and it embraces pluralism, irony, and pastiche. It mixes different styles and media, and it questions the boundaries of art and culture. For those of us who are a little bit older, this moment between Michael Jackson and Bubbles, the chimp, was kind of a big deal, right? It was a really big deal. And so the artist is kind of making a farce of it in a statuette form. And I have not really fully grasped a lot of modern art. I have a hard time with modern art depending on what's going on. You know what I mean? And this is one of those examples where I would have a harder time. I might stand there for a hot minute, like, what am I actually looking at? I don't really know. But there's several in this vein. Let me see if I can find another example for you of this style. Damien Hirst is a good example. Let me see. If I can get you a good image of it. Here we go. Let's stop that one and we'll present this one. This one is called The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living. It's a preserved tiger shark. And it was a commissioned piece, but reports state that this piece sold for at least $8 million. But he basically, the commissioner, person who commissioned it, wanted a piece and offered to pay for whatever artwork that the artist Hirst wanted to create. And the shark, he, paid however much for it. And it cost him 50,000 pounds to make it. but it's not something that I necessarily, again, that I understand. But this is what would be called postmodernism art. And then lastly, the last piece that I want to show you, let me get, here we go. Now, this one, oh, let me get back that way. Here we go. And then open the image in a new tab and show it to you. Here we go. This one, last but certainly not least, is an example of street art. And this is Girl with Balloon by Banksy. Banksy is a street artist. This is an art movement that began in the late 20th century, and it was characterized by art created in public spaces, often with a message or a social commentary, including graffiti, murals, and other forms of urban expression. This was a one of a series of stenciled murals by Banksy, all that started showing up in 2002. And they were all over London. This is a young girl with her hand extended toward a red heart-shaped balloon being carried away by the wind. And these are never explained. Like, there was a piece by Banksy that apparently was being sold, and then Banksy set it up so that the piece was like shredded itself as it was being purchased, basically, so they could earn their money, which I kind of find hilarious, because somebody tried to buy Banksy's art, and Banksy is very about one, being anonymous. No one knows who Banksy is. And two, like, that sort of consumerism is not the message that Banksy is attempting to put out in the world with his street art. So the fact that it was like self-shredding a piece that someone was paying millions of dollars for just really made me giggle so hard. I loved every minute of it. But obviously the person who spent millions on every minute of it. But that would be the last example that I have for you of an art style. Now, obviously, we've gone over tons and tons of different art styles, 20 to be exact. I can't believe I got to all of them in the 2 hours, but I did. And there's so many styles to choose from. I think more than likely, I end up sticking with, the traditional when it comes to styles of artwork. Now that isn't even covering like the different types of artwork styles, like watercolor, line art. We can go into that one next time. But I definitely wanted to go over those particular styles of art, just to show you what's out there. Maybe there's styles that you've never heard of before. And, if you're looking for specific styles of art, maybe you found something that you want to get custom in a diamond painting. I know I did personally. It gave me some really good ideas. But the sky really is the limit when it comes to what you can do with diamond painting. The styles that you can create from, I mean, as long as you have licensed artwork and permission, the sky is the limit. Obviously, we're not just stealing things. If it's in public domain, be everyone's guest. But that all said, I learned a lot too in prepping for today and in, looking around and sharing stuff with you. So anyways, I've really been enjoying kind of making Saturday nights about art styles and artwork Let me know what you guys think. Are you doing the artwork stuff? Am I boring the crap out of you? Is there something specific you want to see or learn about? I'd be happy to, you know, walk you through whatever. I finished my square in the 2 hours as well. I am happy, happy, happy. So it is Saturday night. Typically, we get together over on the Discord after dark in the Dazzler Hangout. If you have Discord, there will be a link down in the description if you want to join into the Discord. You can either join us on the voice chat or you can just go check things out happening at the Discord. There is always a lot going on there as far as, you know, little mini events that we're doing by the channel and for the channel and members of the channel. So definitely check out the Discord. But otherwise, you guys, thank you for spending a couple hours with me. And as ever, I hope I see you on the Discord after dark. I should be on there maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or something. But otherwise, as ever, you guys, I hope that wherever you are in this great, big, beautiful world, that you are having a phenomenal morning, evening, or afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.